Morning, Trainiacs. Big ride today. Big ride. Well, not massively big, but big based off of what I have been doing. So we are now 2.5 months out from Half Ironman Puerto Rico 2019. My, hopefully, Half Ironman World Championship qualifying race. At least my crack at it. That means that I have to start getting my race simulation bikes, the key workouts that prepare me for a Half Ironman on point. So today, while I do that bike, we are going to revive
Thoughts from the bike.
And I'm going to tell you about how to structure your race simulation bike in the 3 months leading up to your race. This is early to get going on a 3.5-hour workout during the week. All right, so what we're talking about here are the long endurance bikes that are typically associated with really getting ready in the last 2 to 3 months before a key race. These are often done on the weekend, and in the last 2 to 3 months before a race, I recommend that you get in at least 4 of these sessions, ideally 5 or 6. Oh, also, you might want to get a pencil and a piece of paper because I'm going to be giving you a lot of structure about these workouts. So of course, the first question is, how long should these race simulation bike days be? Well, from a sprint through to an Olympic, Half Ironman, we're talking about 35 kilometers, somewhere around 20 miles, 60 kilometers, somewhere around 38 miles, 120 kilometers, roughly 74 miles, and then for an Ironman, about 5 to 5.5 hours. At the Ironman level, it's not quite necessary that we go so super long. It's more about time and making sure that we can get through that 5 to 5.5 hour energy hissy fit that our body goes through. Get through that, should be okay. Now, should you be doing this on the aero bike or a road bike? Well, as Cameron Werth, who is teaching a how to bike with Cameron Werth, the guy is the 2-time defending Kona course record holder, he's teaching that course. If you go to triathlon.com/early masterclass, you can get in on the pre-sale for half price, $45 instead of $90. Anyway, he does only about 1 ride a week in the aero bars on his time trial bike. He just wants to keep his body aware of how to get into that position. 75-80% of his riding is done on a road bike. But this key session is that session that is done in the aero position. We're trying to mimic what we go through on race day as close as possible, so that means that this long endurance ride is done as much in the aero bars as possible. How should this workout look? Well, the majority of it should be in low intensity zone 2 heart rate, under your race pace. We're looking at building our cardiovascular system, and the best way to do that is at zone 2. If you haven't gone and done it yet, go to triathlontaren.com/HR training and get our free heart rate system for how to train with your heart rate. This is the best way to build endurance. So while you're in that low intensity zone, what I want you to do is focus on nasal breathing. You can use something super good looking like this intake breathing nose bar, a breathe right nasal strip, or just puff your top lip out, like helps you breathe. Why we do that is that it opens up your blood vessels and it actually keeps more carbon dioxide in your blood, which allows our muscles to strip more oxygen out of the red blood cells. So we actually become more efficient at processing oxygen. Also, while we're at that low intensity zone, keep your cadence quite low in the 50 to 70 range. So what we're doing is we're building up our cardiovascular system with that low intensity, with some nasal breathing, and then that low cadence, it ends up building our muscular endurance, our ability for our muscles to do a repetitive motion over and over and over and over under a little bit of stress. And then the last hour is where we actually step it up to intervals of over race intensity. That is where things get tough. So whether you're going for 1 hour or 3 hours or 5 hours, the last hour earmark for slightly over race intensity. When you're already tired, very good workout. Does this ride have to be continuous or can you start and stop? Well, follow those guidelines for the distances or the times of this ride. You want to hit those guidelines. The first chunk, that is the low intensity chunk, the majority of the ride, can be start and stop. The last hour, however, make that continuous. That is what we're really trying to get the benefit out of. That higher intensity, continuous ride at the end is where you're gonna build a ton of fitness. So try to make that as continuous as possible. And what about running after the bike? Well, remember that what we're trying to do is make this a race simulation day. So certainly in the last 2 to 3 months before a race, you want to start getting in a fair amount of brick workouts, especially after a long distance bike where you are going to be on tired legs like you are in a race. Now this brick run is not where you are building endurance, so it doesn't have to be long. For a sprint athlete, might only need to be somewhere around 10 minutes. For a half Ironman athlete, maybe somewhere around 20 to 30. For a full Ironman, 30 to 40. That's about it. We just want to see how our legs are going to react off the bike and give it that sensation of turning over the legs after being tired on the bike. This is hard to talk and warm up. And then the last thing, this is the ride where you figure out your triathlon race nutrition. So whatever your nutrition plan is, and if you go to triathlon.com/triathlon nutrition guide, you can get calculators, the entire system of how to figure out your race nutrition customized to you. This is the workout that you start figuring out what does and doesn't work for you. So whatever you think you're going to do in a race or you want to start trying, this is the time to work out those kinks. You do not hear something 2 weeks before a race and you're like, ooh, that sounds like it'll work. I'm gonna try that come race day. Absolutely not. You do it in these workouts. This is especially critical if you're following a train low, race high method, where you train on lower carbs and race on higher carbs. You have to have, in that case, 1 workout a week over the final 6 weeks of your prep where you are actually taking in carbohydrates, because if you've trained low for months and months with the majority of your workouts, you have to then give your body the ability to fuel itself off of carbs. So this is the workout that you do it in. Now, you can go back and rewatch some of this, take the notes, or you can go to the links in the description below. We'll put the links to the How to Bike with Cameron Werth early sale for the masterclass, the links for how to get to the heart rate training system, and how to get to the triathlon race nutrition system. Or if you want to be on Team Trainiac, where all of this is laid out for you, every single workout, you can go to triathlontaren.com/team waitlist, and all of this is set up for you every single workout. 5,500 workouts customized to you all year round. It's pretty good. So there you go, Trainiacs. That is your long, key, critical, long endurance bike workout, how to structure it over the last 2 to 3 months before a big race. Now I just have 2 hours and 45 minutes left of this stuff. What's on Netflix these days? What's good on Netflix? Check out the links in the description below. Make sure you're subscribed. Go follow me on Zwift, all that jazz. Later, Trainiacs.